Thank you very much, Dave. And well, it feels like we've been here before. Disappointment at the end. We nearly clung on for the 3 points. We probably had a chance to seal it all, but it just wasn't to be tonight, Brendan.
Yeah, like you say, a frustrating one. I think it's similar to a couple of different games this season, notably the Blackpool and the Bolton ones, where we've gone into added time with a lead and have let it slip. And I think it's frustrating because I think for the most part, I think we would have deserved the 3 points. We did well to manage the game after going ahead. I think we looked a little bit leggy going into the final stages and invited Luton on a little bit, but frustrating to concede in that manner again from a set piece where we've struggled a lot this season.
It felt very similar to the Blackpool game, didn't it?
Yeah, and is there any shot on target as well the whole game? It looks like, according to the stats that have just flashed up there too. So it's doubly disappointing to kind of shut them out, despite them not having a great deal over the course of the 90 minutes to hold on for that length of time and then concede in the 97th minute is always going to be incredibly disappointing and frustration. Of course, there's a lot to take from the performance in that we've led for much of the second half. Theo Archibald gets a goal, which is always something to be delighted by, given the 2 years that he's had. But yeah, the kind of disappointment always stings harder when it's right at the end of the game.
That Theo moment, that was written in the script, wasn't it, Brendan?
Yeah, really special. And I mean, Brisbane Road really erupted as well, which was so nice to see. I think everyone kind of got caught up in the emotion of that goal, and I think it's so nice to see, although it wasn't a spectacular goal, but it was Theo getting back on the score sheet and earning his just rewards for must have been a really difficult couple of years for him.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at that moment then. I think people when realising who it was, the celebrations up to notch.
Seeing that it might be on as well. As soon as Ballard wins the ball here, which is brilliant, and then you just see Theo's there, and you're kind of like, go on. I think the striker's instinct is probably, should I take take on the strike? But Theo's there and to pounce, and the two touches to put it in. We were just like kind of willing it in. As soon as Ballard steals the ball there, it was on, and you could kind of, it's almost like in the film, like slow motion. You can see it kind of like opening up in front of you, and wanting to get the ball and score it. It will mean a great deal, and for a long time it looked like that was going to be the pivotal moment. But what we could take great solace in is that Theo is back, and he's back in the goals, and he's looking incredibly sharp as well.
He was probably man of the match, and that's...
Yeah, goal aside, I thought he was excellent today. I think showed a real intensity about his play, and you could see it was a player who was desperate and to take his chance, and I think you could really see that etched on his face. Anytime Bramall came forward from left wing back, who, like we mentioned at half time, is incredibly quick. Theo was matching him stride for stride, putting in 100% effort to get back. He put in a shift at right wing back when we switched to a back five. I thought he did really well. Maybe tired a little bit late on like the team did, but that's to be expected when it's his first kind of league minutes for so long.
Feels like we almost scored a little bit too early in that first half now, Andrew. It's a weird one to say, but it was a long time to hold on to that lead. We obviously had the injury in the first half. Luton then came at us a bit more. It was a tricky second half.
Yeah, well, I mean, the game also, given there was 8 minutes added on in the first half, 10 minutes in the second half, the game has gone on for 108 minutes, which is such a long time for anyone to play for, first and foremost, but also to concentrate. Unfortunately, the goal that we concede, I haven't seen it back. Can't really see if anyone particularly switches off. It looked like an incredibly high quality delivery, I must say, from the corner. One of those ones which is just like whipped in ferociously, right in the danger area. But yeah, it's just, I don't think it was a lack of concentration as such, just a moment of quality at the end from a set piece from Luton.
We defended well again, probably similar to the Blackpool game. We dug in and we defended well. All defenders put in a good shift up until the dying embers. Yeah,
I think it might be psychological more than anything, especially with set pieces. There's a lot of kind of talk in the Premier League about Arsenal and their set pieces, and it becomes like this thing where anytime they get a corner, it's like, whoa, Arsenal have got a set piece. Everyone kind of gets on the edge of their seat. And I think when it gets to that stage of the game with Orient at this moment in time, with kind of the couple of moments we've had this season with both set pieces and conceding late goals, I think it can play on not only the crowd's mind. I think everyone was a little bit edgy when that corner was given, but I think it can feed into the players because they have that experience of we've conceded before from this situation, and it can just mean that there is that split second of loss of maybe concentration or nervousness or trying not to do the wrong thing, and it leads to that moment. But I will echo what Andrew said. Having seen the replay back, it's a brilliant delivery from Liam Walsh, and it's a rare moment of quality from Luton in that second half.
We'll take a look at kind of Luton stepping into gear. They didn't really kick into gear until the 70th odd minute, despite having all the possession. But they did start building, didn't they? I think it was this sub. Was it Clark?
Jordan Clark, yeah.
And that really did change things a bit for them.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
God, I was just going to say, Jordan Clark was their best player when he came on. He is widely regarded as their best player. He's a player that has been on that journey with them as they've gone up the leagues, and he's been out injured recently. But when he came on, he not only did it kind of lift his team, but you could hear the crowd and what they felt of it. They gave him a rapturous welcome, similar to what we gave Theo. So he gave him a real lift in that last 20 minutes or so, and he was making things happen.
And yeah, we were under the cosh, which is just not. It's to be expected if you're defending a one goal lead. The thing that I would say that if anyone kind of had any question marks about our defence for the goal, the actual defence for leading up to the goal is such a good clearance from Omar. I think this is. We don't know where that's going, but he had to be there, and it might have been going straight in the top corner. We don't really know until we see a second replay. But yeah, the corner. I mean, it's right, exactly where you want to put a corner. Gillian comes for it, doesn't get there, doesn't really get anywhere close, really. But it's a slight misjudgment, but yeah, to hack the box there just right at the end is such a shame. He's
found quite a bit of space there at the back stick as well, and a bit of an unchallenged header.
Yeah, I think it's Baconson who's marking him. He's just lost him there. Cahill kind of tries to do the right thing, which is what you want from your keeper in that situation. Try and be commanding and try and get something on it, but the delivery is just over him and he's misjudged it. To be fair, I think if he's standing in the goal, he's probably not going to get there anyway because it's towards the back post where he wouldn't be. And yeah, I think it's just one moment where it's a really, really good delivery. It's a really good flight on the ball, and Baconson with Kadua has kind of just got the wrong side of him at the vital moment, and obviously it's a simple tap in once he gets to the right side.
You look at maybe the last few games, you factor in Burton, you factor in Blackpool, there's the disappointment in there, but actually there's 5 points in there. It's not all too doom and gloom.
Yeah, and actually when you consider the idea that at one point this evening we were going up to 8th. If we'd held on for the win, there was one point this evening where we would have gone up to 8th, which would have made everything look incredibly rosy. Really, I mean, I think there's been a bit of I can't really find the word, but it's just been a bit flat for the last 7 days because of the Plymouth loss and then the Salford loss. If we'd held on today, and it still feels a bit like that as you given the result this evening as well, but when you look at it in the whole, that's 4 games unbeaten in the league. Starting that run with a 2-1 win against Exeter, then draw against Blackpool, which also was quite a deflating draw, but then having a thumping win against Burton, and then a deflating draw against Luton. It's kind of not many people want to hear it because it's better to have a couple of deflating draws than just outright losses, right? So. It feels like a shame to have left arguably 4 points out there that could easily be ours on the league table, which would have sent us really quite far up the league table. But we have to kind of accept these moments, and it's a shame that they've come at more regular intervals than they have in recent seasons.
Right, then we're going to be joined by Theo Archibald very shortly, so make sure you hang around for that one. And we'll be looking ahead to our next fixtures and discussing tonight's result a little bit more after this break.
Is lunch at work awesome? If so, tune out now. If not, keep listening. Picture this: chef-made meals from local restaurants brought right into your workplace. No sad sandwiches, no tired menus. By tapping into the local restaurant scene, Fuda powers workplace dining for companies across the U.S., giving teams flavor, convenience, and authenticity. Half of Glassdoor's best places to work have partnered with Fuda. Is your team ready to upgrade its workplace food scene? Find out how at Fuda.com. That's FOODA.com.
You have a choice. You can waste 20, maybe 30% of your media budget, spend millions reaching bots, the wrong people, or no one at all. Or just use 0 to 1. It knows who's ready to buy. It's over 85% accurate. Zero wasted spend. The future of marketing isn't guessing. It's knowing.
Right then, to turn our attention back to this evening's game, then just to pull out some more positives as well, I think Azim Abdullah deserves a lot of credit. We probably looked at a worse team with him going off. He looked so bright, and we discussed him before the game, and he's really staking a claim for that 8 shirt.
Yeah, definitely. He looks a different player in that position than what I've seen of him before, and I think, like you say, would have run Theo close for man of the match. I thought he was very physical in there. He won a lot of his duels. Put himself about and had that technical ability when he needed to, just to skip away and win fouls and make passes at the right time. Thought he was really good out there. I think maybe, he went down injured. I don't know whether it was just a bit of cramp or something, but it wouldn't surprise me because he put in a real shift in there alongside Bakinson, and for a long period we kind of dominated that midfield, and I think Andrew said not a lot happened after we scored that first goal, and a lot of that was down to just putting the game, making the game into a game of midfield battle, winning duels, second balls, and all of that stuff. And that was what Abdullah really excelled in that second half.
And it's interesting because he joins the club in January, scores a hat-trick, and everyone thinks he's this attacking maestro. But actually, we're seeing a different side to him.
Yeah, massively. And it could become incredibly useful given the nature of El Mazzouni's injury, to have a player in there who can act as a ball winner, who's evidently working harder. I think it looks like, I mean, I'd love to see the stats that might back it up, but it looks like he works harder in that role than he does in an attacking sense. He also gets around more, like, he uses his physicality. I think occasionally when you saw him in an attacking role, you kind of go, well, why is he not jumping for that ball, or just like doing the things that as fans want to see in an attacking player, just like being a bit more aggressive, putting yourself about a bit. Evidently, he does have that in his locker and has added that to his game, because we've seen that in the last couple of matches from him in that role.
We certainly have. I mean, hopefully that injury isn't too serious. Charlie Wellings looked like maybe had a bit of tightness. Maybe that was just game management. Obviously, the injury to Josh Cromer, no Aaron Connolly tonight, coming into the festive period, and it feels like we're up against it a little bit.
Yeah, I think that would be my biggest concern. I mean, obviously, conceding a goal in that manner is disappointing, but I think we did look a little bit leggy in that last 10 minutes. Doesn't help that, obviously, play 8 minutes extra at the end of the first half, 10 minutes extra at the end of the second half. That's an extra 18 minutes of football that is in your legs, and I think that's my concern at the minute, is that the squad is a little bit stretched. We have probably got the best depth we've had in maybe ever as an Orient squad, as far as I can remember, in terms of there's 2 solid players for every position now, but it's going to be pushed to its limit because, as you say, it's the festive period coming up, and we don't have a chance to supplement and add to that until the January.
It's been a crazy 7 days, 3 games within 7 days.
Yeah.
Another one on Saturday against Barnsley. Then we've got kind of a week's break, but it feels like tomorrow we're just going to have to turn our attention to that one on Saturday against Barnsley.
Yeah, for sure, and it's going to be such an interesting game, that one, because it was only 3 weeks ago, I think, that Barnsley beat Luton 5-0 as well, and so how they managed that, and then Luton came here and didn't look like they were offering a great deal, but you could look at those 2 results and do you view them in like as a collective, or do you treat every game almost like as a completely independent thing, which I think is a smarter way of doing it, because we've blown hot and cold really for the last pretty much all the season. That's only our 4th draw in the entire season. We've won 11, lost 11, and now drawn 4, and it kind of just goes to show kind of how hot and cold this season has been thus far. It's going to be an interesting one for sure.
For sure. And what do you make of this trip to Barnsley on Saturday then? As they all are, it's another tough test. But as we said before the game, they're just too hard to call at the moment.
Yeah, it's another team where, look, like Andrew said, they've beaten Luton 5-0 recently, but then they've lost a lot of games recently. They're a side that probably were the most attacking in the league, up there with us in terms of the amount of goals they've scored, but they also concede a lot at the other end too. So if it's a game where I imagine, I don't know how they got on today, but I imagine both teams will be quite leggy because it's the same schedule for everyone. Everyone's played a cup game at the weekend and then played Tuesday, Saturday. So it could be one where it could be stretched and quite entertaining given the way Barnsley set up.
Well, time to turn our attention now towards the man of the night, that's for sure. We've got Theo Archibald ready and waiting to join us across in the Justin Edinburgh stand. Theo, thank you for joining us. How good did that feel to get out in front of a packed T10 and just put on a show again?
Yeah. I mean, I've obviously waited a long time for that. I think I've actually scored here since we beat Cambridge 2-0 at the start of our first League One season. So yeah, hell of a long time. Just a shame we couldn't obviously hold on. I feel like we've said that a couple of times this season, but yeah. Look, I mean, personally, obviously, delighted to have scored and got some. It's the most minutes I've played since I've obviously returned from my injury as well, and I felt pretty good. So yeah, a lot of positives to take for me personally, and likewise for the team. I think that's the kind of performance that we need to build on. I think we were obviously defensively pretty solid throughout the match. To be honest, we didn't give away too much, but just that concentration at the end, we need to sort of tighten up with. But yeah, look, for the most part, I think we're all relatively pleased in there, and it's something to build on.
Tell us, it's obviously been such a long, hard road. What was going through your mind when you put the ball in the back of that net and celebrating out there? Honestly, I'm not really sure, to be totally honest. I could have probably done a better celebration actually than watching it back. But yeah, I mean, and it's a bit of a junky touch as well. But yeah, thankfully Cohen didn't come back to me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Dom's done really well to press him. He does that a lot. I think he gets his reward sometimes pressing like that. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got the ball before the defender came back in, because it's a pretty crap first touch. But I mean, look, yeah, I've waited a long time for that. I think I deserve it, to be honest. Just a shame it couldn't have wrapped up 3 points. And we've got to ask Theo. Now we've seen you in a few games now, a couple of under-21s in the trophy game last Tuesday. How are you feeling with your knee now? How are you feeling out on the pitch? I know you said in the documentary that your stats are showing that you're faster. You look so sharp, but how do you feel within yourself out there?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, I think there's probably still like a little bit of match fitness to gain. I think towards the end of the first half I was blown a little bit, and again at the start of the second half before I caught my second wind. But yeah, in terms of physically, I feel good. I need to manage the knee appropriately. I mean, that's both knees, to be honest. I've got tendinopathy in both of them, so yeah, I need to manage them appropriately. But yeah, like once I'm on the pitch and I'm warm, I feel good. And yeah, so obviously got 60 something minutes last week. I think I probably played like 80, or well, actually with the added time I probably played close to 90. So yeah, that's a good that's another stepping stone for me. Got my first goal, and yeah, look, just hopefully build on that at the weekend now. Yeah.
Yeah, how much of it is kind of like muscle memory in terms of almost having to relearn stuff like positional things? I mean, for you personally, there's can't be much of a tougher test than having to play right wing back against Cohen Bramall, who's got to be one of the fastest players around, but you went pretty much toe to toe for him for most of the second half. Yeah,
I mean, I know Cohen pretty well. Actually, we played together at Lincoln. So yeah, I think if I was going to get thrown into the deep end, it's against him at wing back, to be honest. But I think I managed all right for the most part. Yeah, like you said, sorry to touch on your first point, muscle memory. Yeah, it is really, to be honest. I think I've described it as riding a bike before. Yeah, you just sort of, I don't know. The intensity obviously today is different to what it was last week, but I think once you're actually involved in the game and you've had a few touches and stuff, it does just kind of come back to you naturally. I don't think I'm at my best yet, but I wouldn't necessarily expect to be at my best yet. However, yeah, I think I'm relatively pleased with where I'm at. I think most of the staff and stuff are pleased with sort of my progress, and I just got to keep working hard in training, and try and get as many minutes as possible to keep building on it and get sharper, and hopefully keep getting some more goals and things like that.
Right, Theo, I'm getting in my ear that we need to let you go so you can go and do your man of the match duties as well. But we could talk to you all night. We're just delightful to not have you in the studio anymore. So good to see you back out there on the pitch.
I appreciate that, Ollie. Thanks very much.
Enjoy the rest of
your
evening.
Cheers, guys.
Another massive congratulations. I mean, it's just smiling listening to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's so not only a really good footballer, just so eloquent and a really good talker, and has such interesting insights from a footballer that you don't normally hear. So yeah, really, really great to hear from him, and so pleased for him that he got his moment tonight, and feels like he's properly back now, and he'll be in contention for Saturday for sure.
Feels like we could have picked his brain for 45 minutes, half an hour. Good job. There's another part to the documentary coming out next Sunday, Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely. They might need to, I've done some bits and pieces in the industry where you kind of go, oh, there's a bit of the story missing now from this episode, so we probably need to add a little bit more to this. And I wonder if the people behind the documentary might think, let's add another couple of minutes on, which includes a goal back at Brisbane Road.
Right. Well, what a beautiful moment that was for Theo, but what a shame to not get all 3 points. I'm sure the lads will go again on Saturday and give it all as we go on the hunt to get back to winning ways in the league. Thank you for your support wherever you've been watching from around the globe, and a massive thank you, of course, to Brendan Pitcher and Andrew Butler. Enjoy the rest of your day, and up the O's.